Welcome. My name's Sam and this is Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you would have seen my video this morning on what is inside the Make a Memory Scrapbooking kit. And this is it. Now I've literally taken all the pieces apart, put the things together that the instructions have. So all the instructions, I've put all that paper and the pieces of paper and the embellishments and the ephemera that they've asked me to do. I've put them all together. And what really pleased me, having done all of that, was then afterwards, when let me try this. I'd finished, I've got all of these extra pieces. Sorry, my lids. There we are, lid. We've got all these extra pieces. There were strips of paper, there's frames, there's flowers, there's gift tags, there's all so much stuff that's left over, which is brilliant because it means you can just keep carrying on or adding things to your scrapbooking page. However, so I am going to start, as it's Monday evening, I am going to start with this one. It's a very simple one. I'll show you what the instructions have left me or asked me to put for this piece together. So I'm actually going to use my glue dots to, there we go, put one at that end and one on the bottom right so that we can hold down our piece. It is a single layout. They are going to be this week. I've gone for single layouts, which is good because I don't normally do them. So it's ideal for that one photograph or those two photographs that you have handy sitting around. So this is a photograph of my grandson and his graduation from nursery. It also gave me a piece of, this is the Memories and More cards that came with the kit. It came with the word celebrate. And it came with 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers. Now, I knew I wanted to use this particular design because of the celebrate for my picture of my grandson. So I'm not really going to use the leaves. So what I did do was I dug deep into all that was left over, and I've come up with some arrows that they've got, some banners. I have a frame. And then I have a piece of paper for my journaling. So when I started doing that together, then I thought, oh, actually, I need a few pieces, a little bit more. So I dug deep into my stash and pulled out some papers and cut them down to back up my photographs. So the first piece I have got is this piece, which is 3 1/4 by 11 inches. There we go, that's that one. Then I've got this one, which is 8 inches by 3 1/4. And I have this strip, which is just over, it's meant to be 1 inch, but I've turned it to 1.5 inches by 10, and that will go across to there. So I'm actually just giving a bit more of a background in the photograph that I have here. So he will go onto there. That's my rough looking out. And then I will add my embellishments that I've added on. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal and let's stick the papers down first. So as I say, these are odd pieces of paper that I have collected over the years and have just been sitting around. And I thought to myself, do you know what? They would work really, really well with this particular picture. So ideal opportunity to have backing cards and embellishments, and if you want to add your paper to, you know, all the spare paper you've got. And I'm sure you're like me and have got loads of spare paper. There was a point when I first started crafting where I'd buy these beautiful sheets of 12 by 12 sheets of paper, and because they looked so beautiful, I never cut into them, which was a big no-no really, because what a shame. But now I'm getting a little bit more adventurous and doing so. Right, I'm going to draw a line straight down there, and I'm going to add that to the middle. There we go. So this is current paper from the adventure paper, and these two are quite old. So this is my, as I say, my grandson. I'm just going to pop him there. I'm going to use this piece of paper, as I say, Memories and More card that came with my kit. So the only thing that I'm not using for this particular layout is the leaves that they suggested. I'm just adding lots more onto it. So let's have a look what we've got. So I've got my arrows. That's going to go on there, I think. Ooh. There we go. I'm going to have this one as well. So at least I know that the yellows match, which is Darling Duckling. Over here, I have got 2 banners. I've got my frame, which I'll probably put about there. And then that will go inside. And I'm going to put some banners underneath. So I'm going to use these banners to go underneath. So I'm going to put that one under there. That's it. And then that one will go probably around about there. One smaller than the other. Let's do it that way. And then I've got this piece which I'm going to put in the middle. So I will lift that up. And then you stand still, man. And they're going to go, might not be. Let's try it that way. And then we can put the frame over the top. And that in the middle. Might move it up just a touch so that those banners show through. And then the celebrate there. And I think I'm quite happy with that. I think that for me, I am happy with the layout. I'm using the added, I've taken away the flowers. All I've got to do now is to stick it down. So let's stick my young man down. So the best thing to do is just put it down the middle. And I'm also going to need to stick this piece down as well. So I'm aiming it for that line there. And across that line there. And then I know it's straight. So there we're going for that line there and straight. There we are. And then my young man can go over here. So let's line it up. What I quite like with these border papers that you can actually line up with straight lines. It's always helpful, isn't it? So there he is. Right, okay, so now I'm going to put him up there. Put that one there. A little cheeky man. A little bit there. It's going to come down a bit further to about, let's get that straight. It's always a good look. There we are. And now what I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to write the date up there. I mean, I could write his name and the date. But let's see what we're going to do with these first. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to work out roughly where this is going to go. So I think it's going to go here. And then my border can hang down. So it's going to go there. Let's do that. So again, it's just bit in the middle. So the bit higher up. The wonder of these kits, as I say, yes, on Monday. Try that again. I said earlier on this morning that this is £34, and that it is real brilliant for, you know, if you're a first timer, or ideally if you wanted to, you know, you're a little bit more advanced and you felt that the embellishments would help you. And then that is going to go like that. So you've got the two coming through here. So you're going to straight down. Now there's somebody coming up my drive at the moment, so bear with me, because that just means that my dogs are going to go ballistic. It will be amazing if I get away with them not being shouting at everybody. But miracles do happen, you never know. So that is going to go. I need to cover up these two pieces, so I'm going to make sure it comes up. There we go. So that goes onto there, and then I'm just going to add the border, which will come round to there, and it will just, I wonder if I can, no, I've stuck it down. No, we'll leave it there. Right, I'm just going to add a bit of glue on each corner. I should have checked. Here we are, lesson learned straight away. So let us put that there, straighten that down, and stick that down. There we go. So I can write all my journaling on there, and then I've just got to add the word celebrate, which, oh, there we go, look at that. Pull that through. Oops, it's wonderfully sticky. And I've just got to make sure that I get it down straight. So let's put it, oh, now questions. Do I put it there? Or do I bring it down? I think putting out there, actually. So let's get, oops, C and the E there. There we go. So we should be able to add the rest. Celebrate. Come on. I've managed to get the R a little bit skew-if. There we are. And the T. And the E. Right, there we go. Look at that. So, for a first time on this kind of kit, I'm really happy with that. My cheeky little man is shown off to his best of his abilities, and I've added with my wonderful papers. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I will be back on Wednesday with our second layout. It will be a single sheet again, so do join me then if you're free. I'd love to catch up with you. So thanks ever so much. Take care. Bye.